alaikum. Good day, everyone. I am Rafiq Suleiman, ex-chairman REAP and currently serving as a convener of Central Standing Rice Committee in FPCCI. First, I would like to thank you all for participating in this innovative virtual REAP Rice Expo 2021. There has been some very informative session. I would especially like to thank our Pakistani leading exporter for sharing such fruitful discussion and our international panelists for giving time from their busy schedule and being part of this expo. I would also like to thank the Rice Export Association of Pakistan for keeping the SOPs in mind and organizing such a helpful virtual session. FPCCI is an apex body of all trade bodies of Pakistan. Rice has been second largest revenue generating sector of Pakistan, plays an important role in representing trade and industry related problems faced by our members from this platform to our government bodies. And Alhamdulillah, we have been successful in this. I would like to thank President FPCCI and Abdul Rahim Janu Saab to taking REAP request on priority and resolving there immediately. As an earlier discussion, we have discussed various issues faced by REAP and how REAP and FPCCI along with government bodies are addressing the same. Pakistan is the homeland of world best basmati and non-basmati rice. Rice is one of Pakistan's major summer crop and other are maize, cotton and sugarcane. Increase in yield and area under the cultivation for rice paddy has been an uptick over the past 2 decades due to several interventions including access to better quality seed, adoption of laser land leveling and favorable on-farm economic for growers. We have many varieties of rice and especially world-renowned long-grain non-basmati rice of 86. Pakistan rice is very much liked in buying rice countries, especially in Africa, for its soft cooking. Pakistan export more than 4 million tons, the rice amounting of $2 billion, and our rice being exported more than 100 countries of the world. On the marketing side, rice export, such as myself, are working hand in hand with the Rice Export Association of Pakistan, Pakistan Ministry of Commerce and Trade Development Authority of Pakistan to unlock new markets for Pakistani rice exports. There is a tremendous opportunity of basmati in Middle East countries, including Iran and Saudi Arabia. Members of REAP are now moving toward backward integration in order to take their focus on quality to next level and have open mills at the farm gate and are investing in mechanization and storage. This will further unlock more premium markets of Pakistan to export rice. Approximately 25% share of total Pakistani rice export goes to African countries, and Kenya is the largest buyer of Pakistani rice, whereas 75% share goes to the rest of the world. Value of Pakistani rice export to African countries is approximately 600 million US dollars annually. Top African destinations are Kenya, Tanzania, Mozambique, and West Africa. From the year 2018, Pakistani rice export to Kenya has shrunk due to the flooded supply to Chinese, Thai, and Tanzanian rice in Kenya. Pakistani top export destination of rice: Kenya, Tanzania, China, Afghanistan, and UAE and UK, Indonesia. Majority of above countries are buyers of long grain non-basmati rice, whereas good share of Pakistani basmati and brown rice is exported to UK and EU countries. Talking about the African markets, Africa is the second largest continent with the population of approximately 1.3 billion. The total consumption of rice in the continent is estimated to have a value of $6.8 billion. This market is even bigger than the Chinese market as the rice is the staple food in Africa. I would like to request concerned authority to give access to Pakistani rice in Kenya as Pakistan is its largest tea importers and we should balance the terms of trade and exporting Pakistani rice to Kenya. I request the concerned authority to arrange the preferential duty tariff for Pakistani rice so that we can increase the rice export to Kenya as well as African countries. I assure that Pakistan will continue to supply good quality rice to Kenya and other African countries so that food shortage will never happen in African continent. Even 2011 and 12, when there was a big food crisis observed around the globe, all rice exporting countries imposed ban on their rice export But Pakistan has honored all their rice contracts and completed all the transaction. As the export of rice is a free trade, it lies under the private sector entirely and the government does not intervene in the trade. I am proud of the participant of the conference, that Pakistani rice exporter, for making a huge investment in installing most modern rice mills and upgrading their processing unit. Moreover, Pakistani millers also getting international certification, which proves that they made the requirement of leading rice buyers. In the end, I would like to thank Ministry of Commerce, Trade Development Authority of Pakistan, and all the participants who put their stalls and promote their work. And I would also like to thank our local and foreigners attendees. Last but not least, I would like to praise the Rice Export Association of Pakistan and organizing such a beautiful virtual conference. Thank you very much. Pakistan Zindabad.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Let me begin by congratulating the Rice Exporters Association of Pakistan to have organized this first ever virtual Rice Expo in Pakistan. It is a great honor for me to address the closing ceremony, and I must extend my congratulations to all the exhibitors as well as the foreign buyers and the delegates who have participated in this virtual exhibition. My congratulations also to Mr. Abdul Qayyum Paracha, who is the chairman of REAP, and all the other members of REAP, the exhibitors, the delegates, and everyone who has participated in this virtual exhibition, because this is the new way of exhibiting our products now, since the pandemic has gripped the world for the last year and a half. And I'm glad that all sectors of our export economy are now beginning to understand how important it is to go the virtual way. And this effort by REAP is highly appreciated, not only by the players within the rice export business, but also by the Ministry of Commerce and the government in general. Rice, as you all know, is an extremely important product of Pakistan. It is the second largest export that we have from Pakistan after textiles. It is in fact the second largest crop after wheat, and it contributes a great deal to our economy. And we have been exporting rice for a very long time now, and have been consistently improving in our performance with regard to rice exports. And this is due largely to the efforts that have been made by REAP and its various members. And I'm also glad to say that the Trade Development Authority of Pakistan has been able to assist rice exporters at various times. And even at this point in time, we are engaged in certain efforts and certain initiatives which will go a long way towards improving the situation of rice exports from Pakistan. We export to a lot of countries, but we export mainly to the UAE, to the United States, to the European Union, some parts of Africa, to Philippines, and to some other countries. And we feel that we are very competitive, not only in terms of our price, but also in with regard to our quality, which is constantly improving because the millers are engaging better and better technology as time passes. And I'm sure that this improvement will continue to take place over the next months and years to come. Recently, what we have done is that we have received a geographical indication registration from the Intellectual Property Organization with regard to rice. Previously, India used to claim that they are the only producers of basmati, and basmati is an Indian product essentially. But we've secured this geographical indication registration in order to challenge that claim made by India in the international market, because we feel that basmati is not an Indian product only. It is produced in Pakistan, and perhaps we produce a better basmati than the than the Indians. So that registration is also going to help us now make sure that we become even more competitive. Um, but let me end by saying that I appreciate the effort of Rice Exporters Association who have held this virtual exhibition. I am happy, and I am in fact delighted to note that a lot of people participated in this. And I'm also happy to see that this new way of exposing our products to the world is now becoming more and more acceptable, not only at home but internationally, because this pandemic of COVID-19 has really made it difficult for people to travel to different parts of the world, and perhaps this is the best way to deal with the vacuum that is left behind because of lack of travel and physical movement from one part of the world to the other. So I wish everyone at REAP and all those who have participated in this, our foreign buyers, our collaborators around the world, I wish everyone good business that this exhibition must have generated. And I look forward to a very productive and meaningful engagement between REAP and the rest of the rice buying world. Thank you very much, Pakistan Zindabad.
Good evening, friends. This is Fuad Gharib, Gharib Sons Private Limited. We are rice exporters from Pakistan. It's been a wonderful conference. I would like to congratulate Chairman REAP, Abdul Qayyum Paracha, and all his team of young, energetic, enthusiastic experts who have made this possible. It was great to hear the NFA representative, Bernas, Onicor, the other buyers online. The panel of local experts have already briefed about Pakistan rice. I will just fill in a few gaps if you consider them as gaps, or I'll just put in a little bit of additions, and then we'll pass it on to the people to do the final rounds. First of all, I would like to thank the NFA entire management for bringing Pakistan rice at par to the ASEAN in terms of duty. Unfortunately, this happened at a time when Pakistan crop had already exhausted by almost 70%. So the prices of Pakistan rice is about higher than the Indian rice. If you look at the data of the last 10 or 15 years, India has not been able to compete with Pakistan on white rice. And white rice has always been our strength, and we've always dominated. And whenever Philippines has opened under the MAV program, or there have been shortages and NFA has done tenders, Pakistan has aggressively participated. The good thing is that the Philippine importers love Pakistan rice. Yes, we understand that price is always a barrier, but this price, hopefully, once this COVID thing is under control and India stops the free distribution, the minimum support price in India has already gone up. And we believe that Pakistan will always maintain its competitive position in the supply of 86 5%, 86 25%, and 100% broken white rice. In parboiled, we've always been a little more expensive than our competitors. But as far as white rice is concerned, Pakistan has remained the preferred origin over the last 10 years. So we hope that the Philippines government will continue this policy, and this will only benefit the people in Philippines because they'll get cheaper rice, better quality rice. And frankly, the rice which we are supplying back to you, this originally, if you know, is the seed provided by the International Rice Research Institute in 1985 to one of our governments. And this was developed as ERI6 Pakistan long grain rice. Now it has a lot of other varieties. A lot of other varieties have been introduced. And so the taste and the cooking characteristics is something which the government of with the people of Philippines like. So thank you, and we hope that this thing will continue. Now to add on, just to summarize, the total acreage under cultivation is 2.74 million hectares. This is in excess of about 6.5 million acres of rice. What I would like to point out is the immediate increase, in production. The REAP had given a proposal to the government of Pakistan to increase the production and eventually have $5 billion worth of exports. If you look at the figures of the hybrid rice seeds which are being used, about 10,000 tons of hybrid rice is being imported from China, and the domestic production is between 2 to 2,500 metric tons. Now, this is sufficient for only about 1 to 1.5 million acres. So we are just targeting about 20 to 25%. We still have a lot of scope for immediate increase because the OP seeds are just giving 50 to 60%, whereas the hybrid seeds will give about 180 to 100 mounds average increase. So once farmers get used to planting hybrid rice, like some of our members pointed out, you need the perfect weather, you need the perfect temperatures, we need the for the flowering. Heat at the wrong time is not good for the seeds. So once the farmers get more used to hybridization, and this is also happening in the northern areas now, in the upper districts of Punjab, in the lower southern Punjab areas, we believe that the acreage under cultivation could hit about 3 million tons within the next 3 years. And this in itself will give at least, about 500,000 tons increased production. The other things, there's a lot of local seed development that is happening, both in hybrids as well as in OP seed production. And this in itself has been marked as a very important aspect of increasing production. The association has already announced benefits for the breeders who will come up with new varieties. So the association, along with the government, are working to give better seeds, which is going to be the main ingredient for increasing the crop. Just to add, Kala Shah Kaku and other government institutes, everyone was working. The federal government was working in a direction. The provincial government was working in a direction. There were a lot of company and still a lot of private seed companies who were working in various directions. What REAP as an association has done is they're putting everyone on the same platform. So now, instead of people working in different directions, we will see within the next 1-2 years a unified approach, unified plan of action, which is going to have an immediate impact on the crop outputs. The government of Pakistan, the federal government is also very serious. They are setting aside good money for agriculture. Agriculture financing is growing in a big way. Farmers will be facilitated. So we hope that with the usage of better seeds, with the usage of better conversions from, for better hybridization, local as well as imported, we will have better crops. Now, another friend had given a complete brief about mechanized farming. There are a lot of companies now offering these services to the farmers, which from mechanized seedling to mechanized transplanting to mechanized harvesting. As you have seen, that it does not just increase the productivity, but it also saves the harvesting losses of up to 7 to 8%. Not only that, but as the panelists had mentioned that Pakistan is water-starved, we feel that with proper laser leveling, I think at the moment, not even 20% or 30% of the land is water level. So Pakistan's water requirements will be stressed, and with proper laser leveling, we as an association, the farmers for the rice crop will have sufficient water available. And if it is done in proper lines, there are a lot of companies working with drip irrigation techniques. So it is going to be a combined effort whereby we're going to utilize the water effectively, efficiently to get maximum production. The other thing which needs to be mentioned over here is laser leveling. The government of Pakistan, both provincial and federal, are giving a lot of incentives to the farmers. They're giving subsidized rates. They're giving subsidies to the farmers who come in. They do get the laser leveling done. You can get tractors at there are a lot of good, nice policies which the governments have introduced. So we will see a lot of conversion of conventional farming techniques going into mechanized farming over the next 5 years, along with proper utilization of seeds, we believe that maximum 3 to 5 years, Pakistan will be in a position to increase or double our rice crops. The other very important thing that needs to be focused where people are investing money is as soon as the paddy is ready, the bulk logistics supply. This is lacking in Pakistan. There are some companies that started working on that. We need that paddy to be transported in bulk to the rice mills. We need to have the rice mills educated and have their systems in place to receive the paddy in bulk. We need to eliminate the bagging system because that is not only increasing the cost, but it is also increasing various problems as the paddy, if it is freshly harvested, if it can be delivered in bulk into the pits for the drying, it will have more effective in controlling the aflatoxins, more reflecting in drying procedures, and this will eventually improve milling yields and also have a better quality product. So along with so as soon as you're mechanized, now everyone is working in the farmers are working to convert their things into mechanized farming. They're service oriented companies who are providing with mechanized services, and now we've got these rice mills where Punjab is very much advanced, where the millers have already engaged in establishment of dryers, boilers, heat exchangers, indirect and direct heating mechanism. They've installed good milling equipment. Now in milling, there are two stages. One is the husking, one is the reprocessing. Most of the exporters have got vertically integrated units. They have their own drying, they have their own husking, they have their own processing. But a lot of small, medium enterprises are still relying on these husking units, which in turn are being pushed by the exporters and the government to improve their drying, storage, and milling so that we can increase the yields by at least 10%. If you can understand, once the paddy is properly dried and then properly stored, one of the gentlemen said that May, June, July, we don't have good quality of rice for export. The main reason for that is that when the paddy is stored either in the open or they're stored without drying, there will be yellow grains, there will be discoloration, there will be shade in the rice, which obviously markets in China, Philippines, Indonesia, Australia, Europe, even in Africa now. Even in Africa, even the good markets where you're supplying good 5% silky Sortex rice, they want good quality. In fact, now everywhere, everyone wants minimum 44 cat whiteness. They want good quality, high-end quality. So we all have to work with the millers and encourage them to have good storage systems, good drying systems, and that is where the quality control is done. As soon as you've controlled your paddy, you've stored it, further to that, the problem is minimal. This, if all my panelists and if all the people in Pakistan will agree, that the mills in Punjab who are handling Basmati or 386 or 1121 are better equipped. And as such, you will see that even if you go and buy old crop Super Basmati, you still get a very consistent quality product. As far as the long grain variety ERI6 is concerned, we don't have any surplus stock. But like some members mentioned, that towards the end, there is a problem with damage and discolor. This is something which can be controlled, is being controlled. And like I said, the government is facilitating with cheap loans, they're facilitating with facilities, they're facilitating with educating the millers. And there are various provincial organizations now, like SEDF, who are taking care of the interest factor. So the government, like I said, everyone was working in a different direction. And now everyone has now all set their heads together and there's a unified direction. The unified direction is grow more so that we can export more. There's some things which the Pakistan, which the Pakistani exporters are working towards. That's packaging and now eventually going into branding and marketing. We believe here, as the rice export sector was under the government till 1995, and then it took about 15 or 18 years for the sector to evolve, to come in with equipment, machinery, etc. Now I can safely say that the best rice milling equipment, be it dryers, be it storage equipment, be it silos from GSI, Brock, DeSittler, any origin, Prada, Kepler Weber, any origin in the world comes to Pakistan first. The best Sortex machine, whether it is from Bueller, Sortex, Satake, Chinese origins, they're all in Pakistan. We've got the best milling equipment in the world. People are now going in for good polishers. People are now going in for triple polishing, triple sorting. And all this can be proven from the fact that recently a Ministry of Trade order, which was supplied to the government of Iraq, was successfully executed, and there was no quality issues. There was the quality restrictions. Were very. It was very the specifications are very tight, but by the grace of God, because the entire industry in Pakistan is now evolved. It has the best milling equipment in the world, and we can provide the best quality, along with support from our research teams now, who are going to come up with good high-yielding varieties, along with utilization of seed, good utilization of water, mechanized seed farming, and eventually good installations of dryers, silos. I believe that the next 5 years, Pakistan will double its rice exports. We want your support. Thank you very much to all the buyers who've attended, all the foreigners who've attended. A big thank you to our association, our chairman, and all the team who have supported. I think a lot of people will now copy the Rice Exporters Association of Pakistan. All the best, and Pakistan Zindabad. Assalamu alaikum.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम जी, मेरा नाम शेख आदिल हुसैन है और currently I am the Chief Marketing Officer at Tapal Tea Private Limited. Firstly, I'd like to thank Abdul Qayyum Paracha Saab, Chairman of REAP, Mr. Faisal Anis Majid, who is the convener of the first virtual REAP Rice Expo, and Mohammad Raza, who is the ex-Vice Chairman of REAP and a personal friend, for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts on rice brand development and its challenges, opportunities, and strategy. So firstly, I'd just like to maybe define the parameters, and if we start off with defining what a brand is versus a commodity, and I'm sure कि इस पे बहुत ज़्यादा आप लोग already बात कर चुके हैं, आप लोग को पता भी है, but मैं बहुत simplify करने की कोशिश करूँगा. And for me, a brand is a promise to deliver the same quality every single time that it is purchased and consumed. तो basically यहाँ पे जितनी भी बड़ी brands हैं दुनिया में, वो एक प्रॉमिस को डिलीवर करना चाह रही होती हैं कि हम लोग आपको वही एक्सपीरियंस देंगे जब भी आप हमारी ब्रांड को ख़रीदेंगे. अब ये नॉन फूड में मेरे हिसाब से बहुत इजी हो जाता है, या रिलेटिवली इजी हो जाता है, बिकॉज आप एक प्रोसेस को ऑटोमेट कर सकते हैं और काफ़ी हद तक उसकी जो रॉ मटेरियल्स जा रहे होते हैं उसको भी कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं. फूड में ये मुश्किल हो जाता है, लेकिन उसमें भी हमारे पास एग्जांपल्स हैं मुख्तलिफ फूड रिलेटेड इंडस्ट्रीज़ में, जैसे रेस्टोरेंट्स हो गए, सॉफ्ट ड्रिंक्स हो गए, चॉकलेट्स वगैरह, चिप्स, स्नैक्स, कन्फेक्शनरी, जितनी भी सारी चीज़ें. इसमें थोड़ा सा इजी इसलिए हो जाता है बिकॉज आप चैलेंजेस दैट आर देयर फॉर कमोडिटीज़ हमेशा से, तो इसको हम कैसे आगे लेके जा सकते हैं. इसमें देखें, राइस में भी एंड बाकी कमोडिटीज़ में भी बहुत एग्जांपल्स हैं इन टर्म्स ऑफ ब्रांड्स अवेलेबल होना. इंडियन ब्रांड्स हैं कुछ बहुत मशहूर, पाकिस्तानी ब्रांड्स हैं बहुत मशहूर, और इसमें एक अपॉर्चुनिटी मेरे हिसाब से कंट्री ऑफ ऑरिजिन की भी बहुत आ जाती है, बिकॉज उसका एक टेस्ट प्रोफाइल बन जाता है बिकॉज ऑफ इट्स यूनिक क्लाइमेटिक कंडीशंस, और उसकी टेस्ट प्रोफाइल की प्रेफरेंस पैदा हो जाती है पूरे मुल्क में, अगर पूरी दुनिया में अगर आप उसको सही से मार्केट कर रहे होते हैं. तो वो तो एक कंट्री लेवल पे हो जाता है, लेकिन फिर कंट्री लेवल पे डिफरेंट कंपनीज कैसे करें, वो चैलेंज अपनी जगह बरकरार रहता है. इसके लिए मेरे हिसाब से एंड आई एम श्योर अगेन आप लोगों ने इसको बहुत किया होगा, और वो स्ट्रैटेजी रह जाती है वैल्यू एडिशन की. वैल्यू एडिशन डाइवर्सिफिकेशन करने की, कि आप जो अपना बेस प्रोडक्ट है उससे निकलें और उसकी डिफरेंट फॉर्म्स बना के वो अगर एक्सपेरिमेंट किया जाए तो उसकी वजह से फिर बहुत फ़ायदा होता है. इसका एक एग्जांपल लोकल राइस मार्केट में पाकिस्तान में एक लोकल कंपनी ने राइस बेस्ड स्नैक्स लॉन्च करके किया, और उनका बेस प्रोडक्ट वही है, वो जो चावल बेचते हैं डिफरेंट साइजेस में अपने ब्रांड नेम के साथ, लेकिन उसी ब्रांड नेम को उन्होंने जब डाइवर्सिफाई करके दूसरे चीज़ें लॉन्च की, जैसे स्नैक्स हो गया, वो स्नैक्स का पैकेट उन्होंने ऐसा बनाया कि जैसे वो चिप्स का पैकेट लगे या निम्को का पैकेट लगे, बट उसकी वजह से अब वो पूरी एक नई मार्केट को करके किया. और उनका बेस प्रोडक्ट वही है, वो जो चावल बेचते हैं डिफरेंट साइजेस में अपने ब्रांड नेम के साथ, लेकिन उसी ब्रांड नेम को उन्होंने जब डाइवर्सिफाई करके दूसरे चीज़ें लॉन्च की, जैसे स्नैक्स हो गया, अब वो स्नैक्स का पैकेट उन्होंने ऐसा बनाया कि जैसे वो चिप्स का पैकेट लगे या निम्को का पैकेट लगे, बट उसकी वजह से अब वो पूरी एक नई मार्केट को केटर कर रहे हैं, और उस वजह से वो नई मार्केट जो है वो उनके ब्रांड नेम को जानेगी, और उसकी वजह से जाहिर सी बात है उनके पास चांसेस हैं कि वो सेल्स बढ़ाएं और अपना वैल्यू एडेड बिजनेस को बढ़ाएं, एंड उस बिजनेस की वजह से वो अपने नॉर्मल ब्रांड पे भी, नॉर्मल प्रोडक्ट पे भी सेल्स को बढ़ाएं। तो ये एक आई थिंक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट स्ट्रेटजी है जिसको इग्नोर नहीं किया जा सकता कमोडिटीज़ में, कि हम बेस प्रोडक्ट शायद वैसे ही रखें, उसमें हम कोशिश करें कि जितना हम मिनिमाइज कर सकते हैं वेरिएशंस को, उनको मिनिमाइज करें, जितना हम स्टैंडर्डाइज कर सकते हैं क्वालिटी को हम वो करें, क्योंकि हमेशा से कोर बिजनेस तो वही रहेगा। लेकिन अगर हम इनोवेशंस लॉन्च कर सकते हैं उसी प्रोडक्ट को यूज़ करते हुए, तो फिर हम ऑब्वियसली उसमें फिर प्रीमियम प्राइसिंग भी कर सकते हैं, हम ब्रांड को नए टारगेट सेगमेंट्स को भी पहुंचा सकते हैं, और उससे फिर बहुत ज़्यादा फ़ायदा उठा सकते हैं। सो आई होप कि ये फ़ायदेमंद रहेगा, और इसकी बेसिस पे फिर कुछ थॉट प्रोवोकिंग डिस्कशंस भी हो जाएंगी एक्सपो में। आई विश ऑल ऑफ यू द बेस्ट ऑफ लक एंड अ वेरी सक्सेसफुल फर्स्ट वर्चुअल एक्सपो। थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर हैविंग मी।
Assalamualaikum everyone, and a very good evening. Thank you for participating in our first largest REAP Expo 2021. You have been an amazing audience. The success of a seminar is the audience, and I'm proud to say that today we had 1550 registrations, out of which 450 were international registrations from 75 different countries. We are indeed indebted to our chairman, REAP, Mr. Abdul Qayyum Paracha, to initiate the idea of organizing the first REAP Expo 2021. I'm grateful to him for giving me the opportunity to be a deputy convener for this event. Along with me, we had Faisal Anis as a convener, Kazim Khanwala and Raza Amjad as core committee members. I must acknowledge the efforts of the entire team, because today the event would not have been possible without the entire team support. The REAP Secretariat, REAP staff members are with us, and especially the last 1 month, the efforts put behind this event was phenomenal. Qayyum Saab had the confidence in us, in the young REAP team members, that we can deliver this. I, on behalf of REAP, express a gratitude to all our honorable speakers to be on board. You guys gave us a very, very good insight. Special thanks to our foreign speakers. In spite of being in different time zones in different areas, you were there with us online and gave us very good global market insight. Thank you so much, Mr. Noor Ramsori from Bernas, Malaysia, Mr. Amidin Muhammad from Unicor, Comoros, Ms. Judy Carroll from NFA Philippines, Mr. Subramaniam from TRT Singapore. We are also extremely very, very grateful to Mr. Arif Ahmed Khan, CEO, Trade Development Authority of Pakistan, Government of Pakistan, Mr. Sohail Shehzad, Director, Technical Quarantine, Department of Plant Protection, Government of Pakistan. Thank you so much to Ministry of Commerce, who has always been the biggest support for REAP and approved all the missions. Special thanks to all our 28 exhibitors, sponsors, without whom this event would not have been possible. I really appreciate that in a very short time period, we delivered all the artworks, videos, and brochures. I understand it's very challenging to make all that stuff in a very short period of time. And you were there with us all the time. Your stalls look fantastic. And we were able to display the fantastic work being done in Pakistan. I think in these COVID times, it was ideal to do this virtual event. All the buyers and sellers had a chance to interact. The Pakistan players, all the big companies, all the exporters had the chance to showcase their products, their abilities, and they could interact with the international buyers. International buyers gave us really good time and also explained us the global scenario. I think this conference will not only improve the image of Pakistan as being a great exporter of rice, but it will also be helpful in creating value addition in the rice industry. Pakistan has always been the most reliable source of rice. And today, you all must have seen the amazing work. Here, I would like to add that although the event was for a day, from 2 to 7 p.m. But for 5 days, we're going to be available. You guys can contact sales representatives of every stall anytime, and they will be responsive. Plus, all the documents will be available. You can download it from your own system and save it in your records. So till 5 days, all the material will be available at your convenience. Once again, big thank you to all. This first seminar has been phenomenally done really well, and we look forward to being in touch with you year by year and do bigger and better every year. Last but not the least, I would like you all to watch an amazing video by a very renowned person, Mr. Gordon Ramsay, who will teach us how to cook basmati rice, the long grain rice, which is also a specialty of Pakistan. Hope you all had a great time, and I am really happy to be there as a part of this organizing team, and see you all enjoy the video. Take care. Bye-bye.
Basmati rice, the king of all rices. Light, fluffy, delicious, and I'm going to show you how to cook it perfectly. Now, start off with 400 grams of rice. Rice in, spot on. So what I'm going to do now is just rinse off the dust and the starch. Cold water, always. And just rinse the rice. That stops the rice from becoming clumpy in the pan and allows it to become really nice, light and fluffy once it's cooked. Rice into the pan. Now, to make a plain, fluffy rice exciting, we're going to infuse it. 3 cardamom pods, and just get the pods and just pierce them so it allows all that flavour to come out. Cardamom pods, and then star anise. Now these are beautiful, whole star anise. It makes it really nice and fragrant. Salt and pepper. A lot easier to season the rice now than it is once it's cooked. You start to break it up when you season it once it's cooked. Now, basically, 1 part rice to 1.5 part water. 600 mils, always start it off in cold water. Cold water in. Onto the gas. Lid on. Bring it up to the boil as quick as possible and turn it down and let it simmer for 8 to 10 minutes. And that's the secret behind cooking great rice. Allow it to steam as it's cooking. Do not lift that lid up. Lid off. It smells aromatic. Basically, all the water's absorbed, the rice has doubled in size, and it's nice and light and fluffy. Take the star anise out. The cardamom pods, they all should have risen to the top. Pods out. Take your fork, fluff it through. Basically, it just sort of starts to open everything back up. Once you've forked it through, it becomes really nice and light and fluffy. And there. That is perfectly cooked rice. Literally, as the stock comes up to the boil, the clams open automatically. It cuts through the richness of the coconut. Gives it that nice little bit of acidity. Goes fantastically well with the cinnamon.
Pakistan, the land of 1,000 opportunities. Along with its rapidly growing economy and bustling heritage sites, it is home to a number of languages and cultures, as well as being the host to all 4 seasons and possessing a variety of terrains. Blessed with natural and historical riches, Pakistan's breathtaking destinations include magnanimous mountain ranges, rolling lush plateaus, all dotted with an abundance of pine trees and crystal clear waters to the north. desolate yet alluring and expansive deserts towards the south. In between both extremes, it hosts countless mausoleums, mosques, gardens and lakes. Pakistan's agricultural sector has boosted the country's economy and continues to achieve high numbers of employment. Acres of fertile land, favorable weather conditions, and abundance of rain and rivers are further enhanced with a strong canal irrigation network. The country's manufacturing sector is thriving, with cotton, textile and apparels being the largest industries. Pakistan is predicted to be the world's fastest growing Muslim economy in 2017. Pakistan is also known for its manufacturing of sports goods, which are used by professional teams and tournaments in various countries, including the FIFA World Cup. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is an initiative taken by both neighboring countries to explore investment and bilateral trade. It will link the Gwadar port to the Chinese province of Xinjiang and will act as a game changer not only for Pakistan but for global trade as well. There is constant development in the infrastructure across the country. There are 4 motorways connecting city to city, with 8 more under construction. The Lahore Transport Company, in collaboration with Turkey, also launched the metro bus service in 2013. As a country that is just 70 years of age, we have overcome many obstacles in our way. We have done wonders internationally in all sectors.
The growth of our infrastructure and incentivized investment policy initiatives are leading to a continuous emerging Pakistan.
Thank you for participating in Virtual REAP Rice Expo 2021. We are very grateful to all our exhibitors, without whom this event would not have been possible. A big shout out and a special thanks to all our exhibitors who are Abdul Rauf Abdul Aziz, Abdul Rauf Traders, Al Asad Rice Mills, AMI Exports, Atlas Foods Private Limited, Bombay's Group, Bulk Management Pakistan Private Limited, Conville Pakistan Private Limited, Angro Exempt Agri Products Private Limited, Gharib Sons Private Limited, Guard Agri Research and Services Private Limited, Haji Khushi Mohammed and Company, Ideal Rice Industries Private Limited, Ishfaq and Company, Kausar Rice and General Mills, Rice Mills Private Limited, Manal Foods Private Limited, Mast Kalandar Rice Mills, Medco Foods Limited, Meske and Femti Trading Company Private Limited, Nisar Rice Factory, Noble Foods Private Limited, Noble Traders, Rice Exporters Association of Pakistan, SGS Pakistan Private Limited, Super Foods Private Limited, Transtrade International, and White Pearl Rice Mills Limited.